So, in the difference between information, if it would be inside of a microchip or just a regular body, would be the difference of nutrients. Digesting it is breaking it down into the molecules that is stronger within the construct. And so when this is in a computer, it's just called like an upload or a download. But when a program is getting written initially, it's when you're first learning, and in the brain digestion, how that would get booted up first is in an IQ. And when people can't handle high IQ, their brain goes into overdrive and they become autistic or in savants, is when their brain couldn't handle that much IQ, is in the overdrive. So instead of digesting it, it just kind of recycled in the wrong direction.
The off button is prolific because it can be categorized underneath a blanket, but there's no discretion when you address the elephant in the room that its only option is one thing: turning off. When only people who are subject to a crypt were able to find out that being subject to a crypt means that you lost the game in life and were unable to pass the message. This is where reverberance comes into play when there's things associated with harmonics. Brownian motion is like weird surface tension, but they both get their own playing fields. It is no different than a screensaver on steroids or a hotkey that's always able to be at a disposal. If you lose the game in life, then you're subject to things that are detriments. A demerit is a program in the shape of lice or warts or chicken pox. These are things that fill up your capillaries and make the cilia lackluster. So a computer's microchips, its brain has nodes and bridges. This is similar to a body's capilla and cilia, but the capilla and cilia have mitochondria and DNA in the middle, so that's why it's better. In chromosomes, you have an X and a Y, but then you have like a XX or a YY if you're a female. The differentiation of a stronger vessel lies within that, as well as testosterone. And so when steroids is equivalent to a little bit more testosterone, the equivalence of the chromosomes are redefined in a percentile. And this is where decimals could get involved, because in floating numbers of computer science, you're allowed to be across the board. But it's the central node and the far accentuation of the two bridges of the entire computer component that it would sacrifice all the nodes and bridges between to make the spectacle of that emulate what it can't sufficiently. Each mitochondria, if that mitochondria is the cream of the crop between the cilia and the capillas, making up your interior interaction with its exterior. The off button is prolific because it can be categorized underneath a blanket. So this small picture frame has lights in it, and that advances information within it because it's diffracting better. Same as your voice. If you start and then finish with an interesting delivery, it can better be interpreted because it doubles the same as a frame. When you're looking at things within it, the information is richer. This is one thing that is utilized through Maxwell's Demon being a small thing inside of a box versus a Manitoir, and the Manitoir inside the dome. Both very similar characters, both had the lock system of a cryptography